These are the greatest UFC rivalries of the past decade, and I'm going to be ranking them based off of storyline, how heated the storyline was, and how competitive the actual fight was. Let's get to it. Starting off with our honorable mention, Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. Now, first fight, Peter Yan is dominating. Close first round, as every Peter Yan fight has a close first round, but then he starts to pick it up. He starts dropping Aljo, beating him in the wrestling, and then comes the fourth round, and the illegal knee happens. Now, a lot of people are complaining that Aljo was crying, Aljo was milking this, but at the end of the day, it was an illegal knee, and he did win the title off of it. The first fighter to win the title off of disqualification. I personally, I thought, you know what? He just got kneed in the head. Maybe he played it up a little bit, but he did get kneed in the head while he was on the ground. That is illegal. And of course, it had to have hurt. I mean, if you get kneed in your cranium, of course it's going to hurt. But seeing him after the fact, celebrating with the belt, kind of left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. The next fight, Aljo wins a close, controversial decision. Most of the rounds he won were based off of control time, where he just kept the back the entire time. And you know that's what Aljo does. You know, like that's his specialty. He just holds the back the whole time. That's his specialty. I mean, hey, I can't do that shit, and he became champion off that shit. So, you know what am I to say? But going from a super entertaining and super skilled champion like Peter Yan, not to say that Aljo isn't skilled, but then to a kind of boring split decision merchant and Aljamain Sterling, I don't know. People weren't very happy about that. And after that second Yan fight, the division kind of went into chaos. You know, people wanted Peter Yan to get a rematch, but he just lost twice in a row. And then Aljo continues to win split decisions, fights injured opponents. His legacy is kind of full of asterisks, but at the same time, that's not his fault. All those wins are legit. Every single one of those wins are legit. No matter what came into it, like the TJ Dillashaw fight. Aljo didn't want TJ to be injured. I mean, shit, maybe he did, but like he can choose that shit. But I don't believe the fights were very entertaining, and I don't believe the buildup was quite there to make it on our list. Coming in at number 5, Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski. Cinema. This was villain Volk. No one loved Volk at this point. Everyone loves him now. Everyone thinks Volk is the GOAT. But at this point, people were debating, is Max Holloway better than Jose Aldo? He had just come off of 2 wins against Jose Aldo, had just beaten Frankie Edgar, and Volk is coming in. Volk is actually talking trash. Volkanovski is actually talking trash, and it gets a little heated. Max is talking trash too, but everyone loves Max Holloway. Everyone loves Max Holloway, so therefore everyone's going to root against Volk. First fight, very, very close. Personally, I thought Volk won. Max did drop him. I will say that Max did drop him, but I personally believe in that first fight, Volk won it just slightly. Second fight, I had Max. I'm going into the third fight thinking, Max Holloway's getting closer and closer. Max Holloway seems like he's on the upturn, and Alexander Volkanovski is kind of plateauing. Now we get to the third fight. I picked Max going into this fight. All the reasons I just listed, I picked Max. You know, I thought he was more dangerous on the feet, had a better chin. That didn't mean shit. Clearly that didn't mean anything. In this third fight, Alexander Volkanovski completely dismantles Max Holloway 50-45. Cuts him up badly early on and just batters him for the rest of the fight. Honestly, watching it live, probably one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen from a fighter. Ever. Like that performance, that was the last thing I expected for either of them. But 50-45, the other is crazy. Dominance, pure dominance. People start talking about Alexander Volkanovski as the GOAT. He starts to gain hella fans. And now still champion at the age of 36, pushing big 2026. Alexander Volkanovski coming for Diego Lopez again. Better watch yourself. Next up, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. We all we all know in the first fight, way back, they were both tadpoles. It's really hard to judge off of that. Leon Edwards loses a unanimous decision to Kamaru Usman, basically off of control time. I mean, there's nothing else to it. That fight was pretty boring. People weren't really thinking anything of it. But he goes on a crazy win streak after. And coming into this first title fight that they have, Usman was aiming to tie Anderson Silva's record for the longest win streak in UFC history. The fight starts. Leon actually takes Usman's back and controls him for the rest of the round. Wins that round. Everyone's thinking, hold on now. Leon Edwards out grappling Kamaru Usman? Hell no. We start watching and we're starting to think, Leon might have a better chance than we think. And then the next 3 rounds, and that shit was, I was looking at my TV because I'll be honest, I was an Usman hater. I wanted to see him gone. I thought he was the new CEO of EPO. You know? Kamaru Snoozman. I thought he was Kamaru Snoozman. Wins the next 3 rounds pretty clearly, pushing Leon up against the fence. You know, classic Kamaru Snoozman activities. After the fourth, we hear in Leon's corner, "Don't let him bully your son! Don't let him bully your son! Put that shit out the fire!" And in that 5th round, for the first 3.5 minutes, that didn't mean shit. Kamaru was still doing the same shit, still just keeping his distance. It was a closer round, but Kamaru really let his foot off the gas, trying to coast into a victory. And in that last minute and 30 seconds, that is not the cloth of which he has cut. Leon Edwards, out of nowhere, 1-2 high kick KO. In my opinion, greatest KO of the decade. When you account for the pure scale of how important this fight was, it's got to be the greatest KO of the decade. Usman is out cold. They start playing the Rocky music. Leon's running around the cage. It was beautiful to see. Honestly, watching it live, I was just in shock. I couldn't believe Kamaru Usman had lost in a fight that he was dominating. A dominant champion, losing to a contender that no one really liked. You know, Leon was coming off of the Nate Diaz fight, and it's kind of like, if you're getting hurt by Nate Diaz, imagine what a 1-2 from Kamaru Usman would do. Completely shocked the world because of how that first title fight went. People are still viewing Kamaru Usman as the favorite. In this third fight, complete switch up. A lot of fouls, might I say. Hey, a lot of fouls by Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman. But especially by Leon Edwards, he had a point deducted. But for the most part, he was controlling the striking range, landing good shots. You know, stunned Usman a few times. Some good knees. Outclassed Usman for 5 rounds. Wins by unanimous decision. And that's kind of the end of the Usman era. That's kind of the end of Usman in title fights. Y'all gonna see a whole new video of Usman gets a title shot after beating Joaquin Buckley after coming off of a 3-fight losing streak. Coming in at number 3, Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier. Now listen. Y'all might tell me, this is the number 1. What are you talking about? This is the number 1. Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier. They wanted to kill each other. Yes, they did. They did. And the promotion for this fight was insane. Insane. The shit they were saying to each other when Jon Jones was leaked talking shit to Daniel Cormier after putting on this whole nice guy act, man, the world went crazy. Everyone's buzzing about this. Jon Jones is fake. Heated rivalry. Jon Jones' character completely switches. He says, "You know what? Everyone already knows. Fuck that. Everyone already knows. I might as well show everyone who I really am." And Jon Jones goes out there in the press conferences and the build up, just belittling Daniel Cormier, constantly talking shit. Hey, DC had his comebacks for sure, but the hatred was there. These guys were the clear number 1 and 2. They were beating everyone else in the division except for each other. Jon Jones, he keeps his foot on the gas. He stays one step ahead at all times. And Daniel Cormier just can't keep up. Very competitive, but just not there. In the second fight, Jon Jones head kicks Daniel Cormier, knocks him out brutally. This rivalry would be higher on my list if it weren't for Jon Jones testing for PEDs. That's all there is to it. That fight, on paper, that fight does not count. But even though that fight is declared a no contest, people still see the knockout. Shit, that's not going away. People still view Daniel Cormier as the second best. After John Jones gets his title stripped and Daniel Cormier becomes champion again, people consider him a paper champ. This saga with John Jones to Daniel Cormier, this taints his entire career. And it's no fault of his own, right? I mean, John Jones cheated. DC is still salty about this. John Jones is still rubbing salt in the wounds, and they are currently set to coach some Russian Ultimate Fighter against each other. And John Jones is saying he wants to make peace and be friends, and then clearly Daniel Cormier does not want that. Clearly Daniel Cormier does not want to be friends with John Jones, and I don't think John Jones actually wants to be friends with Daniel Cormier. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe John Jones versus Daniel Cormier 3. Old ass John Jones, fat ass Daniel Cormier. But on to our runner up, our number 2 slot, we have Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. Cinema. Immaculate. I've never seen anything like it. Any Conor buildup is going to be insane. But the fact that Nate Diaz was his opposition made it so much better. The hilarious moments, the shit talk, the constant animosity, the teams wanting to fight each other, Artem Lobov getting involved, the water bottles being thrown at the press conference. Everything about this was amazing. Conor McGregor coming up from featherweight as the featherweight champion, not to lightweight after Rafael dos Anjos pulls out. He goes up to welterweight to fight Nate Diaz on short notice. Now, even though it's welterweight, people are still saying like Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. Conor is a huge favorite. Conor McGregor is one of the best fighters in the world, if not the best fighter in the world at that moment. And he's on top of the world. Conor McGregor is the most popular fighter of all time. And this was his peak. Conor is piecing Nate Diaz the fuck up. Like, it's not even close in the first round. In the first round, Conor McGregor looked like Goku Ultra Instinct. But that didn't last long. Second round rolls around. Nate Diaz starts to wear on Conor. Conor's still landing more. Conor's still landing hard. Conor's still rocking Nate. But Nate Diaz keeps pushing forward. Conor starts to gas. Nate starts to land. Nate hurts Conor on the feet. Conor panics, shoots a takedown. And Nate Diaz out scrambles him and gets the submission. We get the classic moment of Nate Diaz on the mic. I'm not surprised. Conor McGregor, the aura is crushed. The excuses start to come out after the fight. My foot was a balloon. My foot was a balloon. He was 3 times the size of me. My foot was a balloon. But instead of defending his title at featherweight, Conor McGregor decides, I want that shit back. I want it back in blood. The rematch comes. The build-up, of course, cinema, once again. And people start to think, what if Conor's gas tank isn't all there? You know, if Nate Diaz was able to gas Conor out so easily in the first fight, only took 2 rounds. Fight starts. Conor's dominating, dropping Nate left and right. Nate Diaz is a punching bag. He's already bloodied up. But then, late in the second, early in the third, Nate Diaz starts to heat up. Nate Diaz starts to win some rounds. Nate Diaz starts to land, and it's looking like a repeat. Nate Diaz has Conor up against the fence, landing combinations. Conor's looking hurt. Conor's looking tired. Conor McGregor catches a second win and is able to finish the fight strong and wins a majority decision. Now, coming in at our number 1 spot, the greatest rivalry of the past decade, and I won't hear anything about that shit. Israel Adesanya versus Alex Poatan Pereira. Flashback. Long time ago. Both kickboxing. Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Close fight. Many people believe Israel Adesanya was winning clearly. And they run it back. This time, once again, very close, very competitive fight. Alex Pereira hits that signature shot, puts Izzy out cold. They have to apply oxygen to wake him back up. After this, Alex becomes glory champion, but he kind of fades into irrelevancy, to be honest. He was Glory double champion, but he even admitted himself he let alcohol take over his life. He was an alcoholic, and then he stumbles across this video, reignites his fire to fight, reignites his motivation, starts a career in MMA, makes it to the UFC with brutal knockouts along the way, and brutal knockouts when he gets in there against Sean Strickland, Michele, and when he gets that title shot against Israel Adesanya, who is a minus 300 favorite against him. Looking back at those odds, crazy. Crazy. Since when are you going to be 2-0 against someone and be a plus 200 underdog? Close first round. Israel Adesanya looks a little bit faster, a little bit sharper. Hurts Alex bad at the end of the first round. I'm thinking in my head, yeah, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Another title defense for Izzy. That's a wrap. Easy money. Easy money. People were saying, oh, that's his nemesis. No, that's a wrap. Izzy's better. Izzy's faster. Izzy has improved more in that time span since they've fought than Alex has. As simple as that. Controls the next few rounds, does become competitive in the third. I believe Alex did win that third round. It's close, but the low kicks are starting to add up. The low kicks are starting to build. Fourth round. Low kicks are starting to build. Izzy's still in there. Still winning. Ends up taking down Alex Pereira. So surprisingly, mixed up a lot of wrestling in this fight. Alex is lacking experience. He's new to MMA. And coming into the fifth round, Izzy's up 3-1. Just needs to last this fifth round. He throws a leg kick. Checked. Izzy kind of rolls back Izzy kind of drops down and rolls back towards the fence. Alex starts to pressure him. Alex has him up against the fence. Hurts him with a left hook. Alex lands combinations, knees, and then Mark Goddard calls it off. Now, as an Izzy fan, this had to have been the hardest few months I dealt with, to be honest. Just seeing everyone trash Izzy. After the frozen like Elsa remarks, humiliated by Sean Strickland, going into the fight, I was praying Izzy would win. I was praying. I'll be honest. The rematch is quickly booked. More trash talk. Izzy's wearing a dog collar. Foreshadowing. Everyone's saying Alex just has his number. What John Jones was to Daniel Cormier, what Usman was to Colby, is what Alex is to Izzy. Second fight starts. It's a close round, but Alex is starting to find more and more success early on. Hard low kicks. Izzy lands some solid kicks to the body, but Alex is landing hard low kicks. Second round starts. Alex is landing more hard low kicks. Pressures Izzy up against the fence. Landing combinations. Body, head. Izzy's covering up. Izzy looks like he's about to go out. Izzy looks like he's hurt. Hits Alex with a sneaky overhand in the chaos. Hurts him bad. Lands another one. Puts him out cold. One of the coldest celebrations I've ever seen. And I am very much biased. Very much. Hang, hang, hang. And he did leave him frozen like Elsa. I'm watching this in the movie theater. I'm celebrating. I know the neighboring movies, they can definitely hear me. I've never been so happy as an MMA fan and so happy to load up YouTube and see all the videos. MMA Guru, Lucas Tracy. Man. Man. It was a good day. And it is the best rivalry of the last decade. I'll see y'all later.